commentary throughout the afternoon. And now joining me is Enoch Godongwana, the ANC's Head of Economic Transformation. Great to have you with us in studio, Enoch. Firstly, the initial investor reaction, not great. The rand declining by 2%. We just watched it as Pravin Gordhan started speaking. Is that disappointing to you?
Let me start by saying there will always be fluctuation, volatility of the rand for different reasons.
This is an initial reaction.
Yeah, but let me just say, Minister Gordhan and his team have done a fantastic balancing act. So I think moving forward, once there's a better understanding of the budget, even the markets will appreciate it.
It seems like, I don't know, because I do agree with you. I think he said a lot of the right things. He spoke about containing debt, avoiding that downgrade. Was this perhaps not transformational enough, given where we are?
From where we sit, that's why I'm saying Minister Gordhan and his team have done fantastic balancing act. It's unusual to get into an environment where the massive expenditure cuts and at the same time a huge commitment on public sector investment. That in itself, in my view, is an interesting balancing act.
I'd be interested in your take on one of the bugbears is the government wage bill. Now you're with the party sitting outside the executive, but this is something that I think people wanted more action on. Are you willing, would the ANC support a right sizing of government itself?
Let me just say, I mean, depending what is meant by the term. There's no doubt if you look at at figures, whether it's the State SA or the Reserve Bank. If you look at 2008, there's been massive increase in employment in the public sector compared to the private sector. That in itself has got a huge impact on the public sector wage bill. Depending what then you mean by right sizing, and I would agree that we've got to contain that growth of the wage sector bill.
What about cabinet? We have quite a large cabinet.
Look, to me, the cabinet issue is sentimental. All right, it's a statement that demonstrates good faith. It's not likely to have an impact on the major variables or on deficit level or any other thing. It's just sentimental.
Today, the president announced that he and other major office bearers would take an increase this year below inflation, 4.4%, which is a nod to that idea that we have to cut where we can. Is that something that's discussed at a party level?
A cut where we can. We did discuss some of these issues in the Lekgotla in January, and part of what we're talking about, a cut does not necessarily mean there will be no increase at all. What it does mean, there's no way, I mean, if the public sector wage salary negotiations are coming up, we're not going to say there will be a zero increase for public sector. There will be a what Minister Pravin is talking about, a moderation of the budget increase in terms of on the expenditure side.
Enoch, Pravin Gordhan seemed very careful, and he's even said it explicitly. I don't want to use the P word, privatization. A lot of investors are saying, why don't we welcome the resources, the energy of the private sector? What he was alluding to does sound like partial privatization or perhaps a partnership. We just don't want to use that P word. Why are we so scared of that? Is this so political that we can't say it as it is?
From an ANC perspective, we've made a decision on that perspective 24 years ago. All right. In the ready-to-govern document.
Do things not change over 24 years?
Not at all. Not at all. In the ready-to-govern document, we make the point that where the balance of evidence suggests nationalization, we'll do it. Where the balance of evidence suggests privatization, we'll do it. What Minister Pravin Gordhan said was that what we need to do is to evaluate some of the resources we have and say which ones are strategic for us and which ones are not strategic for us. That's the first point. And secondly, which ones there's need to be rationalized because there's a duplication of of tasks and so on and so on. So it's a strategic evaluation of those systems. When the time arises, the appropriate decision will be made.
Isn't that time now? We have, I think,
That time is made. For instance,
SOEs. Is it necessary?
No. He has said, all that you are missing is the word privatization. Yeah. He has said, we'll evaluate these assets. Some of those that are not strategic to the state will dispose of them. That's a clear statement from the budget.
And the ANC is willing to allow...
We said, they will we said, I'm saying 24 years ago, we said balance of evidence. So if they balance of evidence that those are not strategic for the national objective of the state, there's no objection from the ANC.
Enoch, so I haven't even asked you because you were talking about it as you came in. You think that this budget will help us steer clear of a downgrade. The ANC is confident that this has done the right thing. What about the final concern, and we don't have much time, of business, however? Certainty, political stability, that government doesn't say one thing, do another thing. Is that being dealt with?
Let me just on this, just before dealing with that question, just deal with the first question. The issue for rating agencies, although when we budget, we don't budget rating agents in the back of our mind. We budget national objectives in the back of our mind. The issue for rating agents, have we presented a budget that is credible, that is sustainable? That test that this budget has passed. Now, coming to business, part of what we've said, if you look at, and Minister Godongwana has said in a number of sections in the budget, you'll see regulatory certainty, which is a key aspect for business. In particular, he mentioned the mining by name. So clearly, there's that commitment from government.
Gordon has restored confidence. If we look at the market reaction...
As I am.
Yes, you are. If we look at the market reaction, so we were talking about the rand today. If we look at what happened in December, I guess this is one of the things that troubles people. Gordon inspires confidence. We return him to the portfolio of finance minister. But a day or two ago, the president was talking about how Des van Rooyen was the most qualified person. Are we not giving out double signals often?
Let me just say, it's a difficult question you're posing to me because I do not know what informs the president in making his decision, in making his choices. We deliberately, not only in President Zuma, but throughout, the ANC has already delegated that function to the president because we ourselves as members of the National Executive were conflicted because all of us went with cabinet ministers.
Yeah, sure.
So in that
I like that recognition.
in that sense, we've made, any president of the ANC has been given that task with the hope that it will be exercised with due care to the interest of the country and the movement.
When the ANC, so the executive is the ANC, but you are separate as well. You have the executive body and the political party itself. When the ANC looks over a government, what is happening in the upper echelons, are you happy with the handling of the economy?
Let me just say, part of, I would not be happy, I would be misleading South Africans if I'm saying I'm happy with a 9% growth. Surely I'm not. What the ANC does is set
the decisions being made.
Yeah, what the ANC does, set the policy parameters. And our intention is not to micromanage government. And within those policy parameters, government has got to execute and make judgments that will carry us through.
Final question. Gordon was saying it's possible, an economic turnaround. Do you believe that?
I do.
All right, thank you very much. Enoch Godongwana from the ANC. And well, we asked you on Twitter if you think that the finance minister's budget speech will restore confidence in our economy. The results are in. Let's take a quick look.